Hey folks, it's your girl Tanisha coming to you again. How are you doing? Good. I'm glad. I really am. I'm coming to you today with another What's Going On Wednesdays. This is where I actually just go over some different stories that I've seen in the news and I just discuss them, and I'm just like, what is really going on? Because most of the time, the stuff that I see on the news or out in the world, I just be like, what? For real? So I try to go over different things in like religion, politics, technology, sports maybe, just depending upon what different stories I see that are interesting to me or that I think may be interesting to you. So let's get into it. To start off, you may have heard the story about Kim Davis. She is a court clerk in the state of Kentucky who basically said, I'm not going to issue marriage licenses to gay couples. If you are a same-sex couple and you come to her courthouse to get a marriage license, it's not going down. She just ultimately refused to give out marriage licenses. And she says because it was in conflict with her religion. Now, this is the thing. I'm a Christian too, so I kind of understand, but I don't really understand. Because the thing of it is, you're on the job. You signed up for that job. If you don't want to do that job, then maybe you need to leave. If it's that much in conflict with your job, or with your religion, you might need to leave. So basically what happened is they locked her butt up. She was locked up for about 6 days. And the only reason why she got out is because the other clerks in her courthouse began to actually issue marriage licenses to whomever came. And the judge who locked her butt up said, you know what? If you do it again, I'm gonna lock your butt up again. So I'm just like, you know what? Kim, I'm all for the cause. I'm all for what you're trying to do, but I think you just went about it the wrong way. So go ahead and just retrack your steps, find out where you went wrong, and go about this a whole nother way. Now, speaking of God and same-sex marriages and all this other stuff and religion, have you heard about in Arkansas where they have tried to, well, they've submitted a petition to erect a statue of Baphomet? Yes, a demon. The Satanic Temple in Arkansas said basically we want to erect something that reflects our religious beliefs too. They have a copy of the 10 Commandments here at the courthouse. Why can't we erect a statue of Baphomet? This world is going crazy. I'm all for religious freedom, but I really think that they're just doing it out of spite. And I really think that if they go ahead and erect that, like they did in Detroit, I think they erected a temple, the Satanic Temple erected a statue of Baphomet in Detroit. If they go ahead and do that, look, it used to be God Bless America. But with all the stuff that's going on, I have a feeling that it'll turn into God Cursing America. My opinion only. So again, this is a story that I had come across and I thought was kind of interesting. Sports. Have you heard Serena and Venus Williams head up in a tennis match, one-on-one? The sisters, some of the best tennis players in the world, and they're having to be sisters, and they went head up to, why can't I get this out? They basically played against each other, and Serena beat Venus. Now, we all know Serena. Serena's been in the headlines lately because, you know, people were saying she looks so masculine and all this other stuff, and saying that Caitlyn Jenner looks more feminine than her, which is a total, utter crock of mess. But we'll get into Caitlyn a little bit later. So, Serena basically beat Venus. I think she beat her 6-2, 1-6, and then 6-3. So, what that means now is that Serena advances to the semifinals of the U.S. Open. And if she goes there and she actually wins, I think since 1980 something, we've not had a tennis champion to win 4 major titles in a calendar year. So this will be spectacular if she goes and she actually wins the US Open. Shout out to Serena Williams, because I'm all for following your dreams. Yay! All right, moving on into entertainment. Now, I don't know if you heard, I'm a YouTuber, obviously, because you're watching YouTuber. There's this girl named Nicole Arbour who is here, and she did a video called Dear Fat People. And everybody on the YouTube channel went insane. They either were for it or against it. But she had so many people that were against this video that YouTube actually took down the video. After they took down the video, they took down her channel. Now, CNN went and they picked up the story, and then somehow or another the video magically appears and her channel magically appeared. So I guess the censorship that YouTube was trying to inflict upon her was probably not the best way that they wanted to go. And her lawyers probably started talking to YouTube like, look, don't censor my channel. And the last time I looked, I think the channel had, the video, Dear Fat People, had about like 2 million views. So obviously, you know, views equate into money. So if she had to take them to court, I best believe she would have took them to court. So I'm not for censorship, but in my personal opinion, she went about it in a really malicious way. The way she was talking about fat people, I'm all for get healthy, get in a better position health-wise. That's all good. But the way she was making fun of them, making jokes about fat people and things of this nature, I think it was more so malicious versus to help. So, you know, I understand why some people are upset. Me personally, I couldn't care less about what she does. I'm like, get your views, boo-boo. Get your views. So, congratulations, Nicole, that your channel is now back up. I'm sorry that you had to go through all of this, but at the same time, next time you might want to be mindful of how you come across in your videos. I'm all for comedy, but at the end of the day, you really don't want to be too comedic to where you're just out here really maliciously hurting people. After that, and moving on from there, I know you heard of teen mom Farrah Abraham, right? I think she was on like MTV or something like that. That's how she got her claim to fame. So now she's on Big Brother, I do believe. And I guess she's having some problems with some people in the house. And so she goes, and you know how they go into their little room and they do like a diary or video diary or something like that. So she's so upset. She's gotten into an argument with someone. She goes into the this girl goes into the diary room, looks dead in the camera. She said,
I'm gonna kill everybody in this house.
Now, you know as well as I know, Farrah, white people don't take too lightly to being threatened to be killed. So, of course, it was all the uproar, her talking about, you know, she going to kill everybody in the house. But from what I don't even watch the show, but from what I understand, she's always being verbally abusive. She's always threatening people. She's always saying something that's just totally inappropriate. So, to me, I don't know why y'all are shocked. This just seems like it's just the gravitation of the gravitation of what she already does, you know. So what's the big idea? I mean, other people have said, I'm gonna kill these people. I've never said that I'm gonna kill somebody. Now in my mind, I made a thought, you know what,
this earth probably would be better without them.
But I've never said out of my mouth, I'm gonna kill somebody. That's like a terroristic threat, a felony or some stuff like that. Farrah, you better watch your mouth, girl. If all them people in there get... And then on top of it, they were talking about evicting her from the house. I want to evict her butt too if she talking about she gonna kill everybody in the house. You never know when somebody will snap. Look, them people who be in the movie theaters don't expect somebody to walk up in the movie theaters and start shooting, do they? Well, don't nobody expect to be sleeping in their bed and to get that throat slit by Farrah Abraham. So, yeah, I think it might be a good idea for them to go ahead and evict her. I don't know. I'm just saying. But anyway, next, we got Miss Caitlyn Jenner, a.k.a. used to be Bruce. If you did not see, she has been on the Ellen show. Ellen invited her out. And I think that was the first time she was really on a talk show since Diane Sawyer. I'm not sure, but I think this is like one of the few times that she's been on a talk show. So she's going back and forth with Ellen and talking and, you know, sharing with her about the TV show, I Am Caitlyn. You know, just basically talking about the transition from being a man to a woman. But, you know, something interesting that I thought was interesting, Ellen asked her how she feels, how she feels about gay marriage. And Caitlyn's like, really lukewarm. Now, I would think a man who changed his entire identity to be a woman, I would think he wouldn't have a problem with same-sex marriage. But from his reply, he does I think he kind of has a problem with it to some degree. You know, and I'm just like, that's just awkward to me. That's just weird to me. Like, you'll go over to this extreme, but then you have a problem with the gay, lesbian lifestyle and them wanting to get married. I don't understand it. I'm not homosexual. I'm not a transgender. So I don't think I have to understand it. But it just seemed awkward that, you know, the LGBT, what's that, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender community, you would think that they all stick together, but I guess that's not necessarily the case. Oh, okay. Who'da thunk it? Anyway, moving right along. Okay, technology. If you did not hear, Apple had their Apple event today, and they came out letting you know that they're coming out with some new technology. As you already know, the iPhone 6 just came out not too long ago, but now they've updated it to the iPhone 6 Plus, excuse me, the iPhone 6S, and then the iPhone 6S Plus. And really, from what I understand, the sizing is all the same. They added in a new rose gold color, but for the most part, the new technology that they've introduced in is going to be something called 3D Touch. It's basically a way to create shortcuts on your iPhone now, and it's like a third layer, so you can basically see something on your phone, but then there's things behind it that you may have open. So that's basically what the 3D Touch is talking about. Also, the side, like I said, the sizing is still the same, and I'm reading off my notes because I wasn't going to remember all of this. They also introduced the iPad Pencil, which now is going to go with the new iPad Pro. Excuse me, the Apple Pencil, which is going to go with the new iPad Pro. And the iPad Pro is bigger. It's still about the same sleekness of it, but it's bigger. It has like 4 speakers versus the 2 speakers or the 1 speaker that the previous iPads had. And it also has a keyboard, a standing keyboard. And what it really puts me on the mind of is the Microsoft Surface. So if you know anything about the Microsoft Surface, it seems like to me that Apple is trying to gravitate their iPad in that direction for whatever reason. Because me personally, I like Apple products because they stand alone. They're typically in a class by themselves. That's why I like them. They also talked about the Apple TV and how now people are going to be able to watch television by way of apps. And like, say for instance, if you have an Apple TV and you're like, well, I want to watch this show with this particular actor in it, you can speak to the TV. The TV will say, okay, because the TV will also have Siri in it. Siri's gonna be everywhere. You're gonna go sit on the toilet, and before you know it, the toilet gonna say,
well, how may I help you today?
Because Siri is in the dang toilet. Anyway, shout out to Siri. Everybody gotta get their money, even the artificial intelligence that's out there. But this new iPad, I think it's about 12.9 inches, and it's gonna be $799. Now, I have the iPad 1, and I have the iPad 2. The iPad 1, I think was on like $499. I think the iPad 2 was like $350. So this is kind of a big jump as far as the price of an iPad, and it's called the iPad Pro. So, you know, hopefully there's some new bells and whistles going on with that. And they also talk about, like, say for instance, the new Apple Watch. They've created new wristbands, which is, you know, it's good, it's fashionable. For example, I think if you're into Hermes? If you're into that, then you can get a wristband with your Apple Watch that coincides with that designer luxury brand, which is kind of good. They also talked about something called Apple, I think it was Apple Slip, Apple Link or something like that, where it's actually taking your vital signs and you can send your vital signs to your doctor. I'm like, wow, that's pretty interesting right there. That's pretty intense when it comes to a piece of technology being that in sync with your body. So, you know, shout out to Apple for doing it big. I love all Apple products, as you can see. Yeah. Apple, turn up. I'm on my MacBook Pro, you know, turn up. Got the iPad, wireless mouse, some other stuff back there, the iPod, all that good stuff. But my point being this is, to me, Apple makes good products, so that's why I continue to support the brand. I don't have an iPhone though. I've just not found the need for an iPhone. I still have my Android. I know. I'll do better in the future. I promise I'll do better in the future. So, right now, I think that's pretty much the only things that I've been interested in today or this week on what's going on Wednesdays. So, I mean, if there's anything that you want me to cover, anything that you want me to talk about on what's going on Wednesdays, then be free to just drop it in my inbox, drop it in the comment box below. Message me, email me, whatever you want to do as far as to get that information to me, because I'm interested in your opinion. Why? Because I care. So again, this has been your girl Tanisha coming to you with another What Is Going On Wednesday. And until next time, giving you a hug from afar. Bye.